What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. This is stream number 65, and we're getting back to painting. Just make sure everything's working correctly. Look at that. Droid cam's on. Audio's working, I think. All right, and we are good. This is actually the smoothest intro I think I've done in a while. Nothing went wrong. All right, cool. So we're gonna just do a normal paint stream. I am going to play some videos, react to them, and probably just talk about a whole bunch of nonsense. But I will be working on this during all of that. So let's get to the video. Alrighty. I do have to say, just in my personal life, I am very happy. That's all I'll say. I am extremely happy. Things have taken a turn for the good, finally, and I am just, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Alright, I guess we'll chalk out Spawn Wave first.
We're seeing, and we discussed.
Oh, that's not good. Well, there's our first problem. The audio is not going to the right place. What the heck?
The Switch 2 console price whenever it does get revealed.
I really hope you guys can hear that. I can't even tell.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. We've talked quite a bit around how game prices could be going up here in the next couple.
Oh, it's the heat. Oh, hold on. Oh. How is it making that much noise? Or is it a fan on the computer making it? How is it that sensitive? Dude, it's picking up the sound of the heat right above the... Hold on. Yes. Where's that noise coming from? I hope you guys can't hear this, like, whooshing sound. I'm gonna turn down my voice. Well, no, that doesn't work. Alright, well, when the videos are playing and I'm not talking, I'm just gonna mute myself because I feel like the heat is gonna make a really bad background noise. Alright, fuck it, let's do it.
Couple of years, maybe to start the next generation, just based around a lot of the budgets we're seeing, and we've discussed the Switch 2 console price whenever it does get revealed, the system. But now we're starting to hear more and more around how game consoles could actually go up in the short term because of the current economic climate, and it's gotten actually to the point now where the ESA themselves have issued a statement, and we're going to go over all of that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about the PlayStation 2 and how after almost 25 years since its release, so I just got a pretty big upgrade that makes it easier than ever to run your games from the memory card slot. Oh, and we did get a nice glimpse at the newest Battlefield title from EA. We're expecting to come out maybe later on this year, but now we have more information around how you yourself can test it here pretty soon. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button down below. And we're gonna start today with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, this game, of course, the follow-up, go figure, to Kingdom Come Deliverance that came out years and years ago, and it was like crowd-funded to get it off the ground. And people looked at it and said, hey, it's a really good start to maybe a series here for Warhorse Studios, and now they're coming out with the sequel, and reviews went live yesterday, which the game itself is out today, but we can see reviews here. This posted up over on Metacritic, currently sitting at an 87 on the PC. That seems to be the lead platform in the number of reviews. Right behind it, though, is the PlayStation 5 with 43 reviews at an 88. The Xbox Series X matches that with 10 critic reviews at an 88 as well. And I had a chance to play this game for the last week or so, and after going through it, I see the vision here, and I get how people who are really into these big open world sprawling RPGs are gonna get a kick out of this one, especially if you're into the more realistic medieval setting. The only thing for me, though, is the combat just has not clicked at all. And I've still been going through it, but it's kind of that situation of, I just wish there was a bit more maybe impact to it, a bit more in terms of like responsiveness. It's kind of this riposte system where it tries to show you which way they're swinging, up, down, left, right, center even, and you can block, parry, and that sort of thing, or you can use a shield. Even like the firing of a bow and arrow or crossbow, it just feels very floaty. So for me, that's kind of the one hiccup and the part that hasn't clicked. Everything else, though, the world itself is interesting to explore and meet people and do all kinds of side quests. Seems like it's gonna be hundreds of hours to do like a platinum trophy run. There's a lot there if people like those really deep RPG systems. So in that instance, yeah, I recommend it. Just kind of look up the combat, I guess, a bit before you jump in knowing what you're getting into. Also, we had some news around Assassin's Creed Shadows and a headline that didn't think I'd ever have to read, but we can see this. Posted up over on VGC, saying Assassin's Creed Shadows details leak after artbook is uploaded to a hentai site, which it's actually pretty impressive. They got it up on the eShop without Nintendo noticing. Actually, no, that seems pretty common. In this case, though, people are passing around a lot of the pages for this art book, and I guess you could deem them as spoilers with some of the character bios and images and stuff there. Although we're getting closer and closer to its release. We've seen plenty of previews for it, but just wanted to put that out there that yes, an art book in the strangest of settings has gotten out there for Assassin's Creed Shadows. So if you're trying to avoid a lot of information around this game because you're already kind of sold on it and you just want to check it out for yourself, just be aware that there is a lot of information floating around right now that could fall into that category. It's just an odd thing to see pop up, and didn't really expect Assassin's Creed to have its art book leaked out like that on the eShop. Oh, and we do have a new indie show to look forward to here in about 3 weeks. This over on IGN, saying the idea at Xbox Showcase will stream on Monday, February 24th, 2025, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time across IGN platforms. Some of the studios that'll be there with reveals include Raw Fury, Team 17, Akapura, 11-Bit, and many others. They also have some of the big highlights include the next big collaboration for Balatro, and much, much more. So obviously fun to look forward to different indie games because you never know what's really gonna show up at something like this. It being part of IGN, their big Game Fest thing means it'll get a lot of coverage. So it'd be really cool for a lot of those smaller studios to get thrust into the spotlight. And I'm sure we'll get some very creative stuff being shown off. So I guess mark your calendars here, 3 weeks, February 24th. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with a topic that I'm sure is going to keep the comments nice and calm and boring, and that has to do with a lot of the talk around tariffs currently, especially online. I'm sure you've noticed that word getting thrown around quite often, mostly with arguments back and forth, and now we're actually seeing the ESA have to make a statement around this because the tariffs seem to be leading to some pretty significant price increases and changes that people are concerned about here, as like 25%, 10%, 50% all being thrown around when it comes to just everyday goods, services, and materials. And we can see this from the ESA. They say tariffs on video game devices and related products would impact Americans of all ages across the country. This is in a statement to Kotaku, saying we urge the administration to consult with the private sector in a transparent process to avoid causing significant harm to everyday Americans and to one of the fastest growing entertainment sectors in the United States that, of course, just around video games in general. The ESA does represent, think of any of the big publishers, platform holders, in-gaming developers. They are most likely part of the ESA, and they are basically speaking on their behalf, which, yeah, like, we don't want things to get more expensive, and neither do any of the companies if it's out of their control. That's not to say if Nintendo made a Switch 2 Pro and they're like, oh, we're gonna get $600 for this thing. Well, they're gonna try it anyway, and it'll be, it'll be their call. Not like, oh yeah, hey, we were gonna price this thing at $400, but now we have to mark it up 25% to account for the additional tariffs on top of this that then does technically trickle down, I guess, to the consumers. That's the thing I've noticed. There's a lot of people speaking around tariffs online with a ton of certainty. And whenever I go in and dive deeper into it with people who should know a lot about this stuff, you see economists and stuff speaking, it always goes, okay, we're going to explain how all this works. And then when I give you my conclusion, it's who knows? Because it's just, I mean, look, things can change. It's used as like bargaining tactics, fear tactics. It's back and forth, right? We're going to go ahead and hit you with this tariff. You're going to come back. We're going to go with this one. It's part of negotiation stuff. And then they're like, hey, who knows what happens next week, which way the wind's blowing. So there's a lot of concern around how all this is going to shake out. And some have pointed out, for example, this here from David Gibson, that like Nintendo has decided to change up and diversify exactly where their manufacturing is being done. So one example is China was hit with like an additional 10% tariff when it comes to like goods and manufacturing and stuff entering the US. And it's like, oh, well, if you say produce the next Switch system in Vietnam, would that be affected? Well, I guess it depends if a tariff goes there too, is the way it's being described. So in this case, sure, Vietnam can provide the Switch 2 systems for the US, and then China can provide them for the manufacturing in other parts of the world. It's just not really in my wheelhouse to be like, oh yeah, let's break down the economy and all these things that can affect the pricing. And it seems like that's where a lot of people are. Who knows? So I guess as we navigate what's already been a wild year for 2025, and we are only in February, well, I guess we'll find out what happens as we go along. And hey, I'll keep you up to date if we do, in fact, get hit with something that's like, oh yeah, now that $500 PS5 is $600 or $700 or something. I'll at least keep you guys up to date on that one. Next up, let's talk about Battlefield, because we did get a bunch of information around it, specifically when it came to the studios behind what is seeming to be a massive, massive release for EA, and them kind of going back to the drawing boards. We already heard that it's going to be in just more of a modern setting compared to going further into the future.
That's weird. What was the last Battlefield game that they came out with? Was it 2042? I feel like that was a long ass time ago. Did they take like a break in between? Like, I'm so confused because I thought they had a schedule that was similar to Call of Duty schedule, where, you know, they came out with something every single year. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they come out with it like every 2 years or something. I don't know why they just don't make Bad Company again. Like, unless that's what's coming out. I should probably watch this then.
Or into the past or something. In this case, some of the footage they even showed, I mean, it looked like, yes, current times, but it also seems like all hands on deck almost for this one. We can see this posted up. This is summarized very, very well by IGN, where they say revealed Battlefield Studios, the umbrella branding for the 4 studios it has working on the new Battlefield. These are the series' main Stockholm, Sweden-based developer DICE, Dead Space remake and Star Wars Squadrons developer Motive, US studio Ripple Effect, known as DICE LA, and UK studio Criterion, whose work on Need for Speed has now come to an end. A side note on that, though, they did say that while they have to be moving to Battlefield currently, which, again, it seems like, as you can see, everyone's kind of moving to Battlefield to get this thing done and out, I guess for this holiday season is how it's being framed. They will go back to Need for Speed, and they will have some newer ideas to shake things up, is at least the statement that's been made for Criterion. Kind of put those concerns at ease for, is Need for Speed just done? Does not appear to be the case. They go on to say Dyson Sweden is building the multiplayer for the new Battlefield. Motive is working on single-player missions and multiplayer maps. Ripple Effect is working on bringing in new players to the Battlefield franchise. And Criterion is working on the single-player campaign. Quote, this is an unprecedented moment for Battlefield. We'll start by testing the pillars of play like core combat and destruction, then transition to balance and feedback for our weapons, vehicles, and gadgets, ultimately leading to where all these pieces come together in our maps, modes, and squad play. And yes, we will be testing Conquest and Breakthrough, the heart and soul of our all-out warfare experience. But Battlefield Labs will also be a place to explore new ideas and fine-tune and improve Battlefield pillars like our class system, so Assault, Engineer, Support, Recon, to create deeper and more strategic play. All this being quoted from an EA spokesperson. So again, I guess the current plan is it's coming out holiday 2025, or at least that's what they're trying to do. Having this many studios behind it, the push for multiplayer, and a return to single player, which I think is a big deal after what we saw with 2042, which not only just went all multiplayer, but was a very bare bones multiplayer experience. It does seem like they learned their lesson here. So, I mean, I'll be curious to see what the single player ends up being, because people post clips from Battlefield 3 as an example, and it looks pretty good still. And I'd say that single player still holds up well enough. So it's at least something left behind, even if like 15 years from now, the multiplayer servers aren't really working at all. You still have that single player to go back to. But the thing that really caught my attention with that trailer, they showed some quick gameplay, and there was a lot of destruction. Like, it seemed buildings were coming down and things were blowing up around you, and you had like entire doors and walls blowing apart. I understand Battlefield does a very good job with the first look to really try to pull you in with really, really good looking footage that's clearly designed as just marketing tactics. But if they can get back to destructible environments and get closer to what we have with Battlefield Bad Company 2, or if you're camping in a building, all right, we're just going to destroy that building, it's coming down, like Red Faction style.
Yes.
Like, it's just going crazy. Then I think it could be a lot of fun and feel like Battlefield again.
That's all I want. I want a freaking new Red Faction game where they use, modern day technology for the destruction. That would be ridiculous. But then I'm wondering, like, is GTA gonna have destruction, or is it gonna be like GTA 5, where it's, partial destruction, but you're not taking down buildings or walls and shit like that? But yeah, oh my god. If there was a new Red Faction game, a new Twisted Metal game, and a new Turok game, that would be amazing. But weirdly, instead of making the games, they're making movies. Because I'm pretty sure Turok is coming out soon. Sometime soon. But maybe that'll make them make a new game too. Because I'm assuming they want, when they do video game movies, they want to like connect it to the franchise and like have it be one big, paycheck, I guess. That's crazy. So they haven't named it, right? I wonder if it is Bad Company.
So I like what they're saying here. I like that they are they're really all in on the idea of the community, testing it, balancing, coming up with ways they can improve ahead of launch so that they can put out a Battlefield that feels complete and feels high quality.
That's smart.
I'm interested. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Cautiously optimistic, because they've shown us great stuff in the past, the first impression to try to get you, like, really pull you in, and then they come out with Battlefield 2042. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if I find any impressions around some of the play tests. But you can go sign up and try to get in for Battlefield Labs. Just understand it's going to be under NDA for the time being if you do get in. So you're going to have to keep a lot of that to yourself as you're blowing up buildings and rolling around through some massive maps. Next up, let's talk about a major upgrade for the PlayStation 2 for 2025. Now, the PlayStation 2 has actually seen quite a bit of improvement through the homebrew and modding scene, to the point where, you can easily modify your PS2 by ordering a memory card off of Amazon and then putting a hard drive in the back of like that bay for the fat PS2 model. Start loading PS2 games on there just off the disk drive and you're good to go. But now we are to a position where it's easier than ever to just use one memory card and load all of your ISOs for your PS2 games directly off of it, which means the slim PS2 is probably going to be the preferred way to utilize this. Now we can see this posted up. This is over on Time Extension. They say a team of coders have created the multi-purpose memory card emulation MMCE protocol, which allows games to be loaded directly from new smart memory cards such as 8BitMod's MemCard Pro 2 and the open source SD2PSX memory card, which is really cool to have an open source variant of this. The MemCard Pro 2, I think is like $45 and then shipping. And that's the one with the LCD screen. I did an entire video on it. It's a really, really, really cool accessory to have for the PlayStation 2. And that was before it was opened up through a recent firmware update to be able to not only load FreeMcBoot, but also load all of your ISOs off of an SD card there along with that. So basically, you can have this one memory card plugged into your system. As soon as you turn the PS2 on, it'll kick it into FreeMcBoot, and then going into another program, you can play all your ISOs immediately. And you know what? The interesting thing is the memory card slot, to my understanding, is faster than the USB ports on the front of the PS2. So with that and the MMCE protocol, you should get pretty good experience in loading off of it, all things considered. So this is pretty significant to me for the PS2, because otherwise the slim PS2 was always kind of weird. There was a lot of work that had to be done, or you had to do some weird things, maybe load through Ethernet to get a decent experience. But now you don't even have to open the system up at all. No wiring things inside of it to activate the IDE drive that's technically in there as a slot, but there's nowhere to really put it. So this is pretty cool. And you know what? I have the MemCard Pro 2. I also ordered just a bundle off of Amazon that was like $20, and I want to see if that legitimately can modify a slim PS2 with the memory card on the front there with an SD card slot. Because if that's the case, if we really are at the point where it's $20 to do it, all of that off of an SD card loading games,
yeah,
that's pretty impressive. So I guess keep an eye out for that video. But yeah, for now, if you have a MemCard Pro 2 or you're interested in this open source version of it, I'll leave a link down below to this article that then links out to all the other good stuff. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Mega Man, specifically sales around the best-selling Mega Man game.
Oh,
which
shit.
Is Mega Man 11. And if you had to guess right now,
oh, sorry, I
how
didn't
many
see your
copies
message.
do you think that would be? So just...
Oh my god, I wasn't even paying attention. I'm sorry, dude. I'm good, dude. I'm sorry I didn't see your message. Man, I haven't seen you here in a while. I mean, I haven't been on like forever too. Like I just started coming back on, but I'm good. I'm good. You said oh, you started dating a girl? Nice. Nice. Yeah, I actually I'm doing pretty good too. I had like pretty much the best night I've had in a long time last night. So I'm doing really good. That's so cool. You know, it's funny. I was wondering if you were gonna stop by. I didn't even have my chat like up on the screen. I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you for stopping by.
Entire history of Mega Man, all the different games that have released. 11 is the best-selling one. What do you think that number is? Because it's probably lower than you just said. It's we can see this.
Here, I'm gonna post this video in the description, the link to this. But I'm gonna move on to another video. All right, let's see. Rage bait.
Look at the sheen on my hair right now. I am dripping more grease than a Taco Bell Crunchwrap. It's because I keep negotiating time away from my shower right now to play more Path of Exile 2.
Me
I am
too, dude.
hard
Holy
addicted.
shit,
And a
man.
large reason why I've got this needle in my veins like it's heroin is because Elon Musk rage baited me into it. When he had the whole, hoopla with him having a boosted account that he piloted really poorly through his live streams, it made me want to grind the game even more. I had already liked the game, but
Dude, I love the game. Like, I've never really played like a type of game like that. Like I have. I'm probably stupid for saying this, but it reminds me of like Hades. I'm trying to think like what other games are like that I've played before. And like any type of Souls game or like I'll be honest, I didn't really like Elden Ring, but I love this game. Like the only problem that I've had is how crappy the updates have been. Like they've been horrible. But then it'll be like fine. Like I'll be able to play perfectly. But the stream yesterday, I actually haven't gone back and like watched that. I want to take a clip out of that when I'm beating that boss because I was so into it that I wasn't even thinking that I was streaming, so I don't even know what I was saying. I gotta be careful. But yeah, that was intense. I love that game. Alright, sorry.
I had kind of petered off on playing it for like 5-6 hours a day, and then after seeing that and then him finally admitting to having people play his account for him, it just made me just fucking go hog wild into grinding this myself. Now I have over 160 hours. I've changed my build 4 times and I am just the optimal meta build right now, and I'm having a great time. But it made me want to dive even deeper.
Bro, I mean, I guess I don't play like long fucking hours like other people do. I don't know. I have such a like unless I'm like perfectly ready to play a game, I won't. I'll just end up watching YouTube or something. Even though it's like right there. But once I get into one, like I could play it for a couple hours, but chances are I'm probably going to put it down and then not play it for a couple days. Cuz I mean, anybody who's watched these streams knows that like every time I play that game, I freaking have to relearn what I'm doing. It's a complicated game. I have to say that. Like at first it was very overwhelming trying to figure out what everything did and like memorize like there's so many parts to that game. It's actually like insane how anything can work together like that, you know? Where it like there's so much stuff like layered on top of each other, plus like the game's got to like the game engine's got to figure out all these percentages on your like armor, your like how much damage you're taking. Like that seems so nuts to me, but they do a good job with it, I have to say. And it's not even out yet. I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize it was a free game, and I bought it because everybody was talking about it, and then I realized it was a game preview, and it's not even like fully out. So I'm basically just bug testing this shit. But yeah, I'm in Act 3 now, but dude, he's played through 4 times? That's fucked. I do want to play it through again and do a build that's like, what is it? God damn it. The monk, I think? It's either the monk or the witch or something like that. But I went with the guy with the freaking crossbow because I was like, well, if there's a gun, I mean.
Deeper into the topic of rage bait, because he didn't do it on purpose. He's just a dog shit gamer who is a fraud. But the idea of rage bait is something that everyone knows is really effective when it comes to engagement, which is why so many blue checkmark Twitter accounts are constantly farming rage bait because they make money off it, and when people are angry, they are constantly engaging with the thing that makes them mad. They can't help but just poke on it and just stay there. And tinfoil condom conspiracy time, it's also one of the big things I think AI is being utilized for by Meta when they made that huge announcement about how Instagram is going to be flooded with AI accounts. I think a big thing they're going to do is engagement farm through rage bait with their flesh, organic, sentient users. So you're going to have these AI accounts that are constantly trying to pick apart your insecurities or feed you stories that are going to make you mad, because when you're mad, you are locked in on the thing that is upsetting you, and you stay on the platform. I think that's going to be a big thing that their AI accounts are used for, but we all know this. We all know how big rage bait is right now because it is such a good engagement tool. Why you see journalists constantly scrambling to get the most incendiary headlines out immediately because you get the clicks. But aside from just engagement farming, it is also an extremely effective marketing strategy, which is why it's become such a successful and popular trend with marketing mobile games. I'm sure a lot of you have seen these before where either it's a fake game, but the gameplay is someone playing something really poorly. Usually it's you're shooting these people and it makes a bigger number and you gotta move left and right, and whoever's doing it is really bad at it. And also, if that game doesn't exist, you end up buying like some kind of farming sim bootleg knockoff. Even Anthony Starr, fucking Homelander, couldn't resist suckling on these teats to get a taste of that sweet milk that they produce. And it's the same shit, different toilet. It's bad gameplay. He's the spokesperson for it, but the bad gameplay is integral to selling these mobile games. Now, I'm not a rage bait psychologist or anything, so I don't fully understand why it works so well, but there is something, a little demon embedded deep in all of our souls, that when it sees something as pathetic as this mobile game gameplay, it makes us want to try it to do it better than what we just watched, because that was trash. That was actually tragic. And it works. It gets people into the door to try these games. And the most notable example of this, it's one from very recent memory, Ludwig with League of Legends. I'm sure he's not thrilled that I keep bringing this up, but I think this is the best example. One that I think would warrant a real case study to see the correlation between Ludwig's bad gameplay on his climb to plat and an influx of new players to the game itself, at least temporarily. Because, for those that don't know, Ludwig was doing this challenge where he was going to hit plat in League of Legends, except he was beyond horrible at the game. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're not pulling any punches here. I'm not here to, pat him on the back. He was absolutely so bad at that game. I would sit there and watch his streams for hours and just stew. Like, just sit here and steam, speaking to myself out loud, how can he be this bad? And it was such a profound effect watching him be this bad at the game. It made me come out of retirement, fall off the wagon. I was sober from League of Legends for over 4 years. I hadn't touched the stuff. I was an avid addict for a while. I eventually kicked the habit, and I broke my sobriety because Ludwig was so bad at the game, it made me feel compelled to get in there to prove it's not as hard as he's making it look. Now, eventually, over time, Ludwig was able to overcome this hurdle, and he was able to make it to plat. Huge congratulations. The Plat Patriot did it. He was successful in adventure, but it was an extremely rough journey, and it served as this really impressive lightning rod that I'm sure Riot Games couldn't help but thank him for. They probably had like a fucking bubblegum tribute statue to him like Helga from Hey Arnold because of all the new players he most likely brought in through his bad gameplay. Him streaming that game for fucking 6 hours a day, 10 hours sometimes, probably did so much to make people so angry at his gameplay that they felt the need to try it themselves to see if it really is that hard, or to see if they were better than him, which a lot of people probably felt they were, myself included. So it got me in the door playing League again. Now all of a sudden I've done some solo queue. I'm actually fucking malfunctioning because my brain is trying to reject the idea that I'm grinding League again. But I've been doing solo queue. I am playing League again, and I plan on grinding League again. Whereas I was sober until Lud's terrible gameplay. And I just find it so interesting how effective rage bait is, because it's not just like a flaw with me. Rage bait is something that you can very clearly see works. You can see the most engaged posts on any social media platform are going to be the ones that are making people angry. It's very rarely something positive that is getting as much traction as something negative or something that's making people mad. And you can now see it in marketing material where when someone is playing something poorly or doing something that doesn't make sense to sell a product, it makes people more likely to try it. Another good example of this is those videos that always pop up on TikTok and everywhere else where it's like DIY shit. How to fix a blown out tire using a carrot. Save hundreds of dollars on tire repair using a carrot and toothpaste. And it'll just show them doing this unbelievably inefficient repair that will never actually work with like a fucking carrot. Or like, I broke my
Ramen
sink with
noodles.
the sledgehammer and now I'm
Yep.
really upset. But don't worry, luckily I had 5 shoelaces in my garage. Here's how I can fix my whole sink using just these shoelaces. And it's this wild, elaborate fucking Rube Goldberg machine to bring the sink back to life. And you watch it and you think to yourself, this is so stupid. That's not ever going to work. But those posts get so much engagement. And like the point is, the whole reason I'm rambling and ranting is I just find RageBait to be such a strong tool now that people are starting to see. Companies, individuals. And it's so interesting to me because now I'm 160 hours deep in Path of Exile 2, whereas a week and a half ago, I would still just be casually playing it like an hour or two here and there. But now I am so laser focused on this game, all because Elon Musk streamed himself being a fraud gamer. That is such a wild concept
Smart.
to me, and I imagine I'm not alone in that. I'm sure for a lot of people this isn't some kind of shocking revelation, but I guess for me, I just never really stopped to think about how effective a tool Rage really is. Because I like Path of Exile 2 a lot. I fucking love the game. Yeah, it's got some problems, but overall, I'm having an amazing time. Would I be this deep in the game if Elon Musk didn't play it so shittily? No, I wouldn't have. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit, almost kind of like a pseudo cry for help, because I've been up till 5 a.m. the last 4 nights playing Path of Exile 2. Point is though, RageBait, really effective shit. Really, really effective. That's about it. See ya.
Oh, whoops. Whoops. Alright, let's see what Jeremy Corbell is about to...
And the
Yeah.
witness would have been willing, the whistleblower would
Let's see how dramatic Jeremy Corbell is going to be right now.
have been willing to do it, didn't want to, he doesn't want to
But
stay
as a duty.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as a feeling of real duty, beyond what I think people understand. Yeah, he thinks it's important, man. So, he'd be willing to do it. I think
Wow.
you'll hear from him soon.
Jeremy.
So just saying, no, I can't predict the future for other people, but I'm just saying, I believe that you're going to be able to talk with this person on your own soon and judge it on merit.
All right, y'all. Documentary filmmaker and UFO researcher and journalist Jeremy Corbell just dropped some major news on a brand new interview from a little-known podcast called Others to Another Mother. All right, and it features a gentleman named Danny
He going on
Cleary.
his
We'll get
show.
into that in just a moment. First up, let's take a listen to Jeremy Corbell talking about this new whistleblower, okay, that had come out with a document called Immaculate Constellation.
Oh,
all right?
it was that
And this
guy.
was featured in the November hearings, okay, that took place in 2024, November, right, in the House, okay? And they brought out this Immaculate Constellation document. And there was a whole hoopla about it with Jeremy Corbell and this other journalist named Michael Schellenberger, right? And essentially, I've made several videos on it, but essentially, in a nutshell, Jeremy Corbell had brought this whistleblower report, they're calling it, right? Immaculate Constellation. That's the name of a alleged secret, UFO program, but basically. And he had brought it to Congress, right, to be featured in this hearing. Well, during the hearing, Nancy Mace says, no, hey, thank you, Schellenberger, for bringing this, right? And so nobody corrects the record. Jeremy doesn't get credit for bringing that report forward, and he feels like now he can't trust Congress, right? Well, that
thank you.
person who brought that report, okay, is allegedly going to be coming forward And that's kind of a big deal because everybody's been wondering who this person is. And Jeremy is saying now that this person may be coming forward very soon, in fact, which is interesting. But look, before we get to that clip right there, here's a little backstory on this Shellenberger-Corbell document fiasco.
Michael Shellenberger did not deliver those documents to Congress for congressional record. I did.
So mad.
Why does that matter? Right? That's kind of the question. So I said, first, people are going to say it's my ego. We saw that within seconds. Then, they're going to say it was confusion. We saw that day.
Yeah.
The one that's coming is they're going to tell everybody, just tell a little lie to protect somebody. That's the one that's coming. I'll explain that to you on another podcast. But here's the fundamental truth. The fundamental truth is why this matters is that I saw at that moment that the control system, that all the king's horses, all the king's men, they're shaping the UAP narrative again. If you sit there and don't say, wait, no, that's not how it happened. That's what Shellenberger did, just sat there, right? Then all of a sudden you're going along with that egregious, it was like a very bizarre, she's boasting about these documents, right? But just not getting the basics right that she knows is a lie. I realized at that point, I can't trust them. They're bought. They're bought. If they don't tell it like it is in this field, and you get a whistleblower saying, I'm gonna protect you, right? Yeah. Then you've got a real problem moving forward, because then how can you tell somebody you're trustworthy? Right. The one superpower I have is somebody telling me not to say something, I don't say it. So that was like a very bizarre Twilight Zone, because I thought it was like a clerical error, just so simple. Somebody made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It is undeniably not a mistake. So why did they do that? I don't care what I think. Those are the facts. The night before, I showed the document to Shellenberger with somebody else and didn't let him have it.
And he had not seen the 11 pages yet.
No. So he was conveyed a bunch of stuff for his article to write, which was great, right? But no, the actual document, that was something that was intentionally not given, because we had set up for months that it would be reviewed and processed and it would go this way. So the actual physical thing, that was important. That was important because
chain of custody.
It is chain of custody. Yeah. It is chain of custody. But also it's just about who you can trust to be honest, and to why would you change a small thing? Well, maybe what you're doing is you're positioning people. Later, brother, you leaving?
Yeah.
Take your blessing.
Anybody?
Maybe what you're doing is you're positioning people to be ordained to be the people that whistleblowers go to, right? But if you can't trust somebody, then to tell it like it is and to protect your name, and that's what really rubbed me. We lost there. Nancy Mace, right? What was behind this hearing, in my opinion, was that they were trying to collect information and data and find out what people had, and they want to run it their way and shape it their own way. That's the problem.
All right, so there's 4 things that I took away from that clip. One is that guy leaving in the middle was hilarious. He was like, I've had enough of this, I'm out. 2 is Jeremy Corbell stating something that most of you probably didn't catch, but I'm going to get to it at the end of this video. So stay tuned, because I think it's actually pretty big news. 3rd thing, all right, is this him describing the documents and how that procedure, all went down with Shellenberger. Corbell has essentially accused Michael Shellenberger, allegedly, of being paid off. Made a video about it, link in the description. But 4th is the implication of that, right? Which is that Shellenberger and other people are involved, right? Basically to gain, right? I guess he's more talking about Congress, gain information from these people that come in and then shape the hearings the way that they want, right? So it's like a trap, essentially, is what he's saying. And, doesn't know how he can trust the system moving forward. What's he going to do, right? With this sort of situation, which, All right, that's fair. Here's another clip.
You don't sense any other higher influence on them or anything. You think it's
No, I do.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Rep Burchett said it. He was told not to say my name. They were told to erase me.
Wait, what?
He was told by, he said, the suits, which
means one thing,
They're
right?
No, they were intelligence folks that were there. That I was a security issue, and that's the light way of saying it. And he broke from the
What?
fold and grabbed the second he had that fucking mic. He said the truth. He goes, thank me for bringing the documents and the whistleblowers, right?
Props to
So-
Burchett.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he
big time.
just went against the grain. And look, if some spooks came to me and said that motherfucker's a security issue, don't say his fucking name. Like maybe I would be like, okay, you make a good case. Burchett didn't give a fuck.
Wow.
Because he knew, because I was texting the whole time, him and Luna. I was like, what? I was just asking, why'd they lie? That's such a stupid thing to lie about. Like
I saw those texts. I mean, I would say next to
Yeah.
you, I saw some of that stuff. I mean, it was wild to see the back and forth of them being like, this is messed up.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they were told, they went up like each. Burchett went up twice, and Luna went up one time to the dais. Like, fuck, like get a lip reader. I mean, they were like, this has been months in the planning.
Yeah.
That this, chain of custody. We met the individual eye to eye. Like, why this? Why would you lie about this? The only thing I can think is the positioning of people that you're supposed to trust. And goddamn, that's dangerous as fuck now. If you're supposed to be about truth and transparency, and you're fighting for, the people that don't have voices, and you got this big persona, that's what you're supposed to do. And both of them have got that persona.
Damn.
Then,
That's crazy.
then you better
I
cross your
didn't-
T's and dot your I's, and
I actually didn't realize that. I truly thought it was his ego, and he was just freaking out over nothing. But no, that is fucked up. I really thought Nancy Mace had just fucked up and was confused, but that's crazy. He was messaging Luna and Burchett while all that was going on. That is actually pretty fucked up. Why would they lie about that? Maybe to give it more credibility, because maybe they think Jeremy Corbell's name is like.
mind your P's and Q's if you want to use that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It was really disheartening to me,
It is
and
weird.
I saw it as I still see it as very dangerous to incoming whistleblowers. I can never bring somebody back into accountability and oversight into Congress and say they want to tell you what they know, because I can't trust that system anymore. Like, if they're going to lie about that, I can never do that again. I have to find a different path, or make sure that the people that I bring in, whoever they're meeting with, that I can trust them.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to Dan Cleary, who is the host of this show. You can see him right here. People were wondering, how did he get on this show, right? Jeremy Corbell, how did he get Jeremy Corbell on, right?
Yeah.
And really, the gist of it is that he's friends with Dan Cleary, and he's apparently works with Jane's Addiction, and he's a guitar tech, and amongst other
What?
things, clearly. And he was actually at the hearing with Jeremy Corbell. People were wondering, who is this guy that he brought? Now you know, right? That's who it is. So that's why he's going on the show. And props to Jeremy for, being loyal to his friend, and vice versa. And clearly you could see in these pictures that were taken at the hearing, you can see Dan sitting right next to Jeremy Corbell. He's in the bottom right-hand corner of this picture right here in particular. See Dan Cleary. You got Leslie Keene, right, May Schellenberger, right? This is the moment where Jeremy Corbell, confronted them about the documents, right? And there's
was
Dan Cleary in
so
the middle,
mad,
Jeremy
dude.
Corbell on the left, James Fox on the right, all sitting front row, right, watching
wonder
this
what James
happen.
Fox said
And so,
about it.
yeah, Jeremy Corbell goes on the show. There they are looking at Mace after they told her, hey, what's
Yeah.
going on with that document? She's like, I'm out of here. I got a Kentucky Derby to go to. So anyway, that's who he is. And, in case people were wondering and people were asking about it, I saved the best for last, y'all. Right. There's one part in particular that I'm going to play before we get to the final clip. And that's something that I played in the first clip that you probably didn't catch, but it's this part right here.
The one that's coming is they're going to tell everybody, you know, just tell a little lie to protect somebody. That's the one that's coming. I'll explain that to you on another podcast.
So I found that to be quite interesting, to be honest with you, and pretty big news because
Yeah,
what's he
loves that
talking about,
word.
right? He's talked about this alien threat that's coming. Again, I made a video about it in 2027 that they would tell that lie, right? Now he's talking about this protecting someone. Protecting who? They're going to tell a lie to protect someone? Are these two lies connected?
Spooky.
Protect who? That's who I'm wondering about, right? So we got this mysterious person that's going to be protected. Is it this whistleblower that potentially could be coming out,
Oh, maybe.
right? That I mentioned earlier and that we're about to watch a clip about, right? I don't know, but I found that to be very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, let's get to this last clip. Again, apparently this Immaculate Constellation whistleblower may be coming out soon.
At least for months, we've been prepping to get this document on congressional record, and it wouldn't be thrown out. It wouldn't be questioned. You get to meet the author eye to eye. Then you can judge. Then you can judge if what this guy's telling you is accurate information and not like passage material or some kind of psyop. But to get to that point, I needed the trust of the members. And members, by the way, when I say, hey, by the way, I have embedded somebody in my camera crew, and they're actually a first-hand whistleblower, whatever you consider first-hand.
Brilliant, by the way. People have kind of overlooked that you said that during the show, that you
Right.
snuck somebody in with your film crew who is the author of the Immaculate Constellation.
Right. It wasn't so cloak and dagger. It was just like roll with us in, right? But then saying to these members, like, this is an unscheduled part of our meeting. Nobody else can be in the room. I'm saying this like Rep Luna. Nobody else can be in the room. Like, if you trust me, this is it. You know, let's do this. I want you to meet somebody. And absolutely, without hesitation, to their great credit, Rep Luna, Rep Burchett, and at the time Rep Mace, they were like, let's go. Tell me, show me, what's up, right? So that was kind of neat to see that go down and to be able to be there for that kind of vetting and talking. And we said, please, keep this confidential. We don't know where this is going. Again, it hadn't gone out yet through Schellenberger's article about it all.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that was not out yet when when
no,
they met?
this is before the article came out. This was the behind the scenes shit, right? To try to get onto congressional record the statement of a witness or the witness themselves to talk, and the witness would have been willing, the whistleblower would have been willing to do it, didn't want to, he doesn't want to
But
stay
as a duty.
yeah, and that's the thing, as a feeling of real duty, beyond what I think people understand. Yeah, he thinks it's important, man. So he'd be willing to do it. And I think
Wow.
you'll hear from him soon.
Jeremy.
So just saying, no, I can't predict the future for other people, but I'm just saying, I believe that you're going to be able to talk with this person on your own soon and judge it on merit. Again, it's a small part of the UFO puzzle, this one program, Immaculate Constellation, but it's really important.
So there you have it. We may be hearing from this mysterious whistleblower soon who wrote this report about a secret UFO program called Immaculate Constellation. We'll be waiting, and we'll cover it here first on Vetted as soon as this guy comes out, right? So again, link in the description. Go check out Dan Cleary's podcast, Others from Another Mother. Link in the description. Go check out this full interview with Jeremy Corbell. It was very good, actually. So I recommend going and checking it out. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.
I always wonder what the rest of that lyrics are. Oh, sorry. What are we at? We're at about an hour right now. I think I'm gonna call it. Did some pretty good work on this so far today. It looks good. Added a few more colors. Started to fix a few little things. We gotta fix these poppy plants. They look bad. Doesn't match with the rest of the painting. But this is just the base anyway, so once we get in and do like the detail work on this, I think it will really start popping out because yeah, once I start outlining the colors, it'll be way better. But that being said, I think I'm gonna call this stream done. Thank you for watching, if you do watch. Shout out to the big guy for stopping by. And if you come across this, don't forget to follow. And I am outro here.